the latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it all.
Because that's what they told us. Listen, I think a lot of people from African countries don't understand this, right? They taught us, even though a lot of us were here already, they taught us that we came from there. They wanted us to hate ourselves. Like, do you get it? It's not that they just want us to hate y'all. They wanted us to hate where they told us that we came from. It's about y'all too, but they taught us, when we saw Africans, and I'm big 41. As an adult, of course, you grow, you get around different people. That's why they keep us separate, so that we don't talk to each other. I worked with a guy from Liberia, and he showed me, like, I went to his family's parties. I went to his wedding. I saw his house. They moved his grandmother back, and the beautiful houses on the beaches. It's beautiful. It's lovely, but you won't see it unless you actually know somebody from there, and you actually talk to them. But the way they keep that, the way they stop it is they make sure that you think you're better than me and I think I'm better than you, and we just don't talk to each other. Whole time, if we talk to each other, we realize that it's them. Because these are the people that make up the media images. When I was growing up, I saw African people as only. This is what they showed. Only Ethiopian kids with the big distended stomachs with flies on their heads. Y'all, that's all we saw. Just like how all y'all see is us being baby mothers and drug dealers. It's programming. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they get away with it is divide and conquer. They make you think one thing and they make me think another thing. Therefore, we stay away from each other and we don't realize it's somebody in the middle playing both sides. Which is why I say I don't do that diaspora war bullshit over here, because it's stupid. It's literally something that they made up. They don't even know you or me. They're jealous of both of us. And they laugh every time we beef.
Americans associate poverty with Africa because that's what American leadership wants you to think Africa looks like. The campaigns for, helping that African child, helping them get clean water. America has literally sold African Americans a story or a tale about the fact that all of Africa is just like a third world country. And that's just not true. Like, they purposely showcase the poorest cities in Africa when they're talking about Africa, period, because they don't want you to think that where you came from has, any sustenance. They don't want you to think that life is pretty good out there too. Like, you don't have to live in America to live a good life. But that's what American leadership would want you to think. Life is only good in America. And, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave. There are so many things you can do here that you can't do in Africa. And Africa is just this poor ass third world continent. And that's just a lie, like a bold-faced lie. And African Americans really have to stop believing it. I hear way too many African American people say things like, oh, you were living in huts and trees when you were in Africa, because a lot of African people did not come from living in those huts and trees.
Dear Black Americans, you are taught that Africans, we are savages. We are not. We are cultured. We are educated. We are knowledgeable. Unfortunately, we are poor on the surface. But beneath us, we have everything the whole world needs. They tell you this to try stop you from coming back to motherland, because you are the very, very backbone that builds the economy. If you were to relocate back to Africa, you would disable them as a continent. Africa is the only place you would never be racially discriminated against. Africa is the only place where you would never have to fear if you would die the next day or not. Black Americans, you are us. We care about you. We need you as much as you need us. Your color tells you who you are and where you belong. Stop forcing yourself to fit in places you'll never fit.
The propaganda around Africa is a joke, right? You always see that it doesn't rain and that everyone's starving, no one's got anything nice, and that they're desperately in need of help, and it's super, super dangerous. Yet here I am, just wandering around the streets of Kenya. I'm absolutely safe. It's a very safe country. People are super friendly, super helpful, but not just that. First of all, far from being a dry desert, it's been raining all week, and you can see it's literally grassland everywhere. But not only that, the houses. A lot of them around here are like massive, nice mansions. So when they put these videos out of like starving children swatting flies away in the desert, yeah, I'm sure there's parts of Africa that's like that, but there's plenty that is well worth exploring. Don't miss out just because of some propaganda. And before the comments start saying, yeah, but it's the colonizers that have the nice houses, so on and so forth, Not really. Like, it's 99.7% black, I think, in Kenya. It's certainly very small white minority. Most of the people involved in colonizing the country, 100, 200 years ago, whatever it was, are no longer here. So these nice houses are just owned by the locals for the most part. Go see the world. Don't believe what you're shown on Western media.
Western media loves portraying Africa as a place that is hopelessly impoverished and always prone to conflict. And while there are certainly issues, I believe that Africa is the future. Let me explain. The first thing you have to understand is just how many Africans there are. 30 years ago, there was roughly as many people living in Europe as there was in Africa. But now there are now 3 times as many Africans compared to Europe, and in 20 years, there will actually be 4 times as many. What this means economically is that the average African only needs an economic output that's 1/4 of that of a European in order for the African economy to be larger than Europe. And I think this is super impressive, especially given the disgusting role that Europe has played in Africa through colonization and empire. It's beautiful to see Africa having the potential to overtake Europe. The second thing you also need to understand is for a long time period, it was really just the Western countries that were able to dominate the world economically, politically, and through empire. But now in the last 20 years, we've seen the rise of many economies such as China, India, Russia, Turkey, etc. And what this means is all these countries are competing against each other. And if an African state doesn't like the West, they can just kick them out and bring in a different country in. And if they don't like that country, they can kick them out and bring another country in. So unsurprisingly, for instance, we're actually seeing a number of African countries that are, cutting off relations with European powers and even evicting their military. And because of this, you have to understand that the third factor I want to talk about is we're now at a point where a lot of the fastest growing countries economically in the world are in Africa. According to the most recent figures for this year, 6 of the fastest growing economies are now in that continent. And while I know there's certainly many issues in many other countries in Africa, it's very inspiring to see this happen. We saw this previously with Asia, and that continues to a partial degree with, of course, the rise of China, and we could be very soon seeing that also in Africa as well. But the fourth, and I think the most important thing, is while there's all these factors going on, nothing can be achieved without the will of the people. And certainly we're seeing in Africa a bunch of revolutions are happening that is leading to the kicking out of European imperialists and the collective will of African people. In Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, there have been revolutions where now the revolutionaries hold control. They are, for instance, creating factories, growth, economic opportunities for the common people, no longer just serving the foreign powers. And this is really what's going to take off Africa, is if that happens, then it's completely unstoppable. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out some of my other stuff. I do a lot of stuff on African geography and politics, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.
Africa is not a poor continent, neither are the people in Africa poor. That is the narrative they want to push to you, and that is why they always make sure that they give you this so that you don't feel proud of where you come from. And that is the reason to which I've seen that a lot of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora do not want to associate themselves because they believe that life here is a living hell. But the truth is we don't live on paycheck to paycheck. Everything in Africa here is owned by their people. And the kind of lifestyle we live here, you don't get that. In America, never. You don't get that. In Africa, there's nothing like racism. When you come here, you are welcomed. Nobody sees you to be anything less, like the way we experience when we go to other places. They push this thing so that we will not come together. We will not reconnect. The agenda is to keep the African divided so they can conquer us. So when we are busy online telling ourselves, I am not here, I am not this, I am this, I don't want to be called African, this is what they want us to continue to be doing to ourselves. How can a continent that is rich, that US, Europe, depend so much on for your iPhones, for all the things that you have in America and Europe, now tend to tell us that we are poor people? Yes, it is the media. They use the media to misinform you about the continent. But Africa is superb. Now the internet has given us the opportunity to be able to exploit things outside what we are told. They have never projected Africa to the world to be good. It's just the same way they're creating narratives about Africa. It's the same thing they create wrong impression about you people. And that is why we are calling for the togetherness of Africans. Wherever we are, whether Jamaica, wherever, we are one people. African descent. Let's start seeing ourselves this way. We are not savages. Africa is the one that told these people civilization. We ruled Europe for over 700 years. We gave them civilization. We told them what they call soap. We taught these people everything. But they changed the narrative to make us lose that power in us. We are beautiful people. We are one people. And that is the message we need to carry across. Let's start accepting ourselves. Even if Africa is poor, that is where you belong. Life is not in America because we live better than you, the people that are in America. The kind of lifestyle we have here, you can't live it because you live on paycheck to paycheck. What we owe here, you can't. So what makes Africa a poor continent? We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever.